Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
Last year, when I graduated and received my degree, I realized that I had taken my first step into adulthood, as I promoted from student to unemployed. Now, entering the job market was a very, very serious and worrying thing, because many of you, and for those of you who are unaware, the job market in Brunei isn't exactly the most welcoming place at the moment. According to a January report by the Department of Economic Planning and Development, they said that more than 10,000 job seekers aged between 18 to 59 are currently unemployed. Coupled with the fact that in that same report, only 2,000 jobs were advertised in 2014 and 1,700 jobs were advertised in 2013. This means that only 1 out of every 5 unemployed person will be able to get a job. Now, with that being said, even if you were to get a job, there's no guarantee you'll be going to a field that you are versed in or something you are much more confident in. Because of this, a lot of people end up leaving during probations, maybe perhaps in the first month, while speaking to different human resource managers. In a report by the Brunei Times, the CEO of KMAS Management said that the biggest challenge that faced by fresh graduates is the lack of preparedness and knowledge about the industry. With that, my first job, which I took last year, was a reporter in Brunei Times. And despite it being a very demanding and very stressful job, I stuck around for more than a year. And you should too if you were able to get your first job. Here's 3 reasons why. The very first reason is work experience. Now, as a fresh graduate, the biggest challenge we have is having no work experience. So, and most employers are looking for people with at least 2 or more working experience. So we're stuck in a position where we need working experience to get a job, but at the same time, we don't have working experience and we need a job to get it. So how do we do that? If you're lucky enough to actually get that job, then it's actually important for you to seize the opportunity to learn, even if it's a job that you're not very comfortable with. Because at the very start of your job, even if you're on probation, that's when you can put into your CV. The longer you stick at the job, the longer you get working experience. Now, in probation, it serves as a golden opportunity for both you and the employer, because the employer will be able to evaluate you to see whether you're a good fit for the company, but at the very same time, you get to evaluate the job and figure out what it is that you want to do or what it is that the job can provide you. During probation as well, you have the opportunity to learn and be given workshops, given training by the employers. So this adds to your CV, which brings you to my second reason, learning about yourself and the market. During this time when I was in the Brunei Times, when I first joined, I was trained to write news, given workshops on how to write features, supplements. I had to follow my seniors to learn how to conduct interviews, how to meet high-profile people, and how to write news and meet daily deadlines. All this are skills that I can contribute to my CV. Now, if I were to leave in the very first month of my job, because it was very demanding, it was very stressful, and I had to work long hours, I wouldn't be able to apply it. Because any employer would ask, why did you quit after 1 month? If you were to quit during that short period of time, even if you didn't have those training, it's not credible enough that you've actually learned those skills. So the longer you stay, especially if you stay past probation, you would genuinely have the credibility to say, I've learned these skills. The only reason I left was because I didn't see the job being something I wanted to commit to over time. Which brings me to an experience that I'd like to share with you, which is, when I was in the Brunei Times, I was actually very skeptical. When I got the job, I didn't really know whether I wanted to be a reporter. My impression of a reporter is a person that meets daily deadlines, is a person who's courageous enough to meet with high-profile pictures and tell you the truth, putting your name in the spotlight and risking your status out there to the people to criticize or to read your articles. And I'm not the kind of person that likes that particular spotlight. But going through that, I learned that in that job, I actually do enjoy interviewing people. In that job, I actually do like working in a team, developing features, and actually having that creative side of the job. But at the same time, I also learned that I'm not very fond of daily deadlines. I'm not very fond of the flexible, long working hours and being on call. And that's okay. Being in the probation and putting yourself out there gives you the opportunity to actually fully understand what it is that you're looking for a job and what it is that you don't want in a job. That first job gives you that opportunity, and in that probation, you'll be able to evaluate and at the same time learn from your employers. So don't be afraid to ask people questions. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and at the same time develop your skills. The longer you stay, the more chances you have to build your CV and have an edge over those fresh graduates who does not have that working experience. Which brings me to my third and final point, which is closure. I've been Brunei Times for more than a year now. And despite wanting to quit in the first 3 months of the job, I was advised by my friends not to. Because how can you say you don't like a job if you've only been there for 3 months? How can you say that you have committed yourself and fully put yourself in there if you're not willing to commit everything you have, push away the negative side, and really try to succeed in that particular job? If you have done it, if you have given your best, and you have committed everything you can to the job, and it doesn't fit, and it still doesn't feel right, then you will have the credibility, you will understand it for yourself, and know that I've given it a shot, and it just really wasn't for me. You will have learned a different side of yourself, and you will understand, now I know, getting a little bit closer to now I know what I want to do in my career. And that helps you. So for those of you out there who are starting up your first job, or for those of you who are looking to graduate and look for a first job, don't be afraid to take chances. Don't be afraid and don't quit in the first few months. Stay as long as you can, at least past probation, because that's when you know what your worth is in the market. For me, I did not regret staying in the Brunei Times, and if I had the opportunity, I would stay a bit longer. But ultimately, I know a little bit more about myself now. I understand myself. I know my strengths, my weaknesses, and I can move on in the job market. So with that being said, thank you very much, and I hope you will all succeed in your first job. Back to you, Toastmaster Lee.